Yo, what's going on everybody? Elysium here, and in today's video, I am going to be telling you guys the top 10 units you have to get in this brand new Update 18. We're going to go over pretty much the greatest ground units, hybrid units, and they're all going to be obtainable via the banner or current things in the game. None of them require trading whatsoever. They're very easily obtainable, pretty easy to evo. Your first must-have unit in Update 19 is going to be Guts Berserk. I have Unique, but Guts is one of the best units in the game. He applies a bleed damage, which can be buffed by other units such as Shaltier and Power, and he does extremely high damage whether unique or not. He is also a full AoE. He has 10 upgrades, and on upgrade 10, he maxes out. He does a ton of damage. He's easily obtainable through the banner, and he's a very easy evo overall as a unit. He is extremely strong, and that's why he is number 1 on the list of must-have units, because he is just super duper good. Plus, he hits flying units once you hit him to full AoE, which is at upgrade 7 or 8, I believe. He is a very strong unit to have, so make sure you actually get him from the banner as soon as you can if you are brand new, because he is a very good unit. The next must-have unit is going to be Koichy Echoes. He is also obtainable through the banner, as will be pretty much all of the units in this video. And the reason why Koichy is so good is because of the fact that he's a slow, but he's also a hybrid slow. As you can see, on upgrade 5, he becomes hybrid with an 80% slow, and he is extremely cost effective to actually upgrade. He maxes out doing 113,000 damage every 5.8 seconds, and he is a very strong unit, simply due to the fact that he's hybrid and he slows. He does great damage overall, especially in this week's tournament, and he is just a super duper strong unit to have. His support is amazing. The fact that he's hybrid is amazing. He is a 4 replacement, which is nice. So you can have slows pretty much covering majority of the map, and he is very cheap. Koichy is also obtainable through the banner, although you have to evolve him doing the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure raids, which can be a bit of a task, but overall they're pretty easy to do. The next must-have unit on this list is going to be Sasuke Eternal. Sasuke Eternal is obtained via the banner for his first form, Sasuke Awakened, and he sadly only hits ground, but he does 230,000 damage maxed out and is an extremely powerful unit, simply due to the fact that he has the burn effect, which in his case, his burn does his exact damage that is displayed over 10 ticks. And if you equip him with the relic, the Mangekyo Eye, that burn then ticks again 10 more times. So he ends out doing 3 times whatever his displayed damage is, and his burn damage will actually multiply with buffs like Wenda and Griffith, instead of adding as it does with base damage for every other unit, which makes him one of the strongest units in the entire game, and actually one of the, if not the best ground unit in the entire game. He is very strong, and probably the number 1 other than Guts on my list to go out and get. The only reason Guts is actually above him is the fact that Guts is a hybrid. If Guts was not hybrid, he would be number 1 on my list all day, because Sasuke does so much damage. He's a great unit overall, and he is definitely a must-have. Our next unit I want to talk about is Kiro Bites the Dust. Kiro is also obtainable through the banner as his first form, Kiro. He has 10 upgrades and an amazing ability called Bites the Dust. Kiro does fantastic damage, has a great SPA and a large amount of range, and he is also a multi-hit, as are many of the units on this list, which is why they're so good. When we use his ability Bites the Dust, all of these units will actually start to walk backwards for 5 seconds via the ability Rewind. It is extremely powerful because it does not get interrupted by anything and will activate pretty much whenever it feels like activating. But when it does go off, it is super duper helpful to keep units piled up and pushed back. So that's why I think Kiro is easily in the top 5 of units you must get, because his ability is super strong, his support potential is very high. His only downside is the fact that he's ground. If he wasn't ground, he would be so much higher on this list. Like, he would be in the 2nd place spot, tied with Guts and Sasuke. They would all be right on top of each other, simply because of the fact that he is that strong ability-wise. And finally, for our first 5, the last one we're going to talk about is going to be Usoap. Usoap is a very powerful unit, He is relatively cheap and maxes out doing a ton of damage without buffs. What he does is he actually places down traps that when enemies step on them activate and do true damage, which means it ignores any shields, anything among those lines, which is why he is so powerful to have in the update, or just in general. Ever since he was added, he has never been knocked off. He is one of the best hybrid units. He hits any type. He does great damage. His only downside is you usually have to place him further back. As you can see, this Usoap here has been taking care of errors for the entire video so far, as his traps take a little bit of time to set up. If we go ahead and actually move him back here, max this one out, Usoap will easily be able to set up and take care of these guys. Even though they're armored, his traps go through armor, which is super duper strong. So he is a very, very great unit to have. He has so much functionality. Like, as a whole, he is a very, very good unit. It doesn't really matter what you're doing, honestly. He's just a great unit to have. So go out and get Usoap as well. But on to our last 5, numbers 6 through 10. But your next set of must-have units in Update 18. Starting off with Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the secret unit from the Fate portals, and he is an extremely strong unit. As you can see here, he does 610,000 every 10.1 seconds, and he is a hybrid unit. And because of the fact that his circle is not full AoE, he'll deal full damage still to armored enemies, which makes him extremely powerful as we get more and more armored enemies in the game. He is definitely one of the top tier units to actually go for while you still can, because he will eventually become unobtainable. And to get him, all you have to do is Fate portals and then obtain his secret portal. So he's not too difficult to get. A day of grinding and you should have him. But overall, he's a very, very strong unit to go after. The next unit we're going to talk about is Metal Knight Arsenal. Metal Knight is always going to be in the meta. He's a very strong heal unit. He is quite costly, however, it is worth it. Because as Metal Knight gets kills, this little meter on his backpack will fill up, and he will spawn a drone. These drones deal half of his damage and have a little bit, about half of his SPA. They are very, very strong, and deal solid damage with a ton of range. As you can see, he has a drone right here. So 70,000 damage every 4 seconds with 48 range. So super duper strong, and they take care of shielded enemies very, very easily. That's why Metal Knight is a super great pick overall, and just makes basically any errors light work. Our next unit we're going to talk about is Hinamy. Hinamy is attainable through the brand new Halloween stars. She is hybrid on placement, which makes her extremely powerful when compared to other units, because once you place her down, she can immediately hit any flying unit. Her only downside is the fact that she is a single hit, pretty much through all of her upgrades, which really does stink, as multi-hit units are very powerful right now. Luckily, though, she is a 4 placement, which compared to Gilgamesh and Metal Knight is much better, as Gilgamesh is only 3, and Metal Knight is actually only a 2 placement, so the best trait for him is unique. But Hinamy is a very, very great unit to go for. She does considerably high damage, and can pretty much take care of enemies super duper easily. Our next unit is Yumo White Nightmare. Yumo has a great amount of range. He does considerably high damage. It has a low SPA, and he is a hybrid circle AoE, which makes him a super duper strong unit. He is, I believe, a 4 placement. Yes, so he is indeed a 4 placement, which means you're going to want Divine or any trait like that on him as compared to Unique, although Unique's a Unique, it's still extremely strong. So, he is a very great unit to have. He does great damage, and yeah, I mean, he's a great unit. He takes care of enemies super easily, and overall gets the job done. Our last must-have unit we're going to talk about is going to be Law Room, or Lao Room. This is a Law from One Piece. He is so strong because of his ability Shambles, which when I activate it will teleport all of the enemies back, basically to the start of his range. It is extremely strong, and he does considerably high damage with quite a low SPA. He is a 3 placement unit, but you do not actually want Unique on him, in my opinion. I prefer Divine, just because you want that range boost, and Divine or Sniper is going to give you more range boost than Unique would, as well as the fact that he is a multi-hit on his last upgrades, which means he can take care of armored enemies very, very, very easily. But overall, those are the 10 must-have units in the brand new Anime Adventures Update 18. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but for that to be possible, you guys have to drop a sub. So if you're looking to support the channel, please drop a sub, like the video, and comment down below what you enjoyed.